The truth about Nintendo. The true winner of the Switch versus Sony console war. Next generation. PS5 versus Switch. So the biggest video game console war may not be Nintendo versus Sony, not even Microsoft or Apple will be included, or Retron versus Retrobit. It may be AMD versus Nvidia, if you can call it that. Nintendo and Sega, and not even Nintendo and Sony had a big console war, make some of the best games, etc. But who was the true winner? The Sega CD had parts from Sanyo, Sony, etc. Even when Sony was working on the Nintendo PlayStation and making Sewer Shark for the Sega CD. Sanyo, Hitachi, etc. even made their own Sega CD and Saturns and made parts for the Sega CD. Processors, capacitors, small parts, etc. So the multiple sides of the war, in a war where many consoles were sold. You can investigate pictures of your own consoles, or take your own console apart and figure it out. Investopedia, Adam Hayes, CFA, recently wrote an article on AMD versus NVIDIA. Advanced micro devices and NVIDIA have been really big in graphic processors, the GPU market, and have been up 200% over the past 12 months. NVIDIA specializes in graphics chips, while AMD is diversified, competing with Intel in the CPU microprocessor sector. This could be possibly a problem as a result of competition, although NVIDIA has competition with AMD as well, so I don't know what's the deal there. AMD entered the GPU market in 2006 when they acquired leading video card maker ATI. Since then, AMD and NVIDIA have been the dominant players. In 2016, the PC gaming market recorded more than $30 billion in revenue, exceeding analysts' expectations more than 20% the previous year. Both profited during the expansion. Both NVIDIA and AMD profited during the expansion. A lot of this I'm just reading off the Investopedia article by Adam Hayes. NVIDIA seems to be catering to the high-end consumer, even though the Switch is known to have less powerful hardware, while AMD is the middle range, which is weird. This is according to him, but I don't really believe it, considering that I hear NVIDIA and the Switch are less powerful, and AMD... Hard to say, considering that AMD has so many different model processors. As you can note when you do Speccy and check on comparison websites on which GPUs can work for which PC games. PC is very big for AMD, and it's going to be very important for the next market, as a lot of the newer games don't run on the old GPUs. I wonder if AMD or NVIDIA have any say on this. Other new games that came out on Steam this year I could not play. According to Adam Hayes, mid-range gaming systems grew under 1/3 of the market to 35%, while high-end remained on top with 43% of the market share in 2016. According to Adam Hayes, AMD is more budget conscious, willing to sacrifice a little bit more performance to save money. AMD was about to cut with that growth in their profits and their marketing and market share. I don't know. They're saying that AMD is growing into the NVIDIA niche, but I believe that was growing before. They're talking about the Vega GPUs of Q2 2017 to compete with NVIDIA's GTX 1080 chipset. And for some odd reason, in the article they mentioned a Russian man finding and killing someone over the AMD NVIDIA dispute, as if it was Sony versus Nintendo or something. Adam Hayes also believes that AMD is in a weaker fundamental position, losing 55 cents per share last quarter, operating a loss at the profit margins as well, while Nvidia boasts a net profit margin of excess of 26% and a return on equity on 34.2% quarter 2 of 2017. The article also doesn't say a lot about the Nintendo Switch, which is obviously a big factor in this, considering that Nvidia had won the deal with the Nintendo Switch, which is selling around 2 million now in its first 2 months. Hopefully 10 to 15 million by the end of the year. That's a big deal right there. Imagine if AMD had made a deal with Nintendo, how much money they would be making, how much their stock would rise as a result of the Nintendo hype, as a result of the NES Classic and Nintendo Switch, and who knows whatever profits that Nintendo and Nintendo Switch is making. Pokemon Go is a big deal. Oh, that's an Apple product or an Android product. AMD saw its revenue decline by 40% from 2011 to 2015, while sales increased by more than one-third in the same period. The negative earnings have eroded AMD's shareholders' equities, creating an equity deficit where total liabilities exceed total assets, where shareholders would have no claim in bankruptcy if the assets were liquidated at book value to cover liabilities. So basically then the debt holders become the shareholders as a result of that liquidation. If you know anything about equity versus liabilities and assets, that won't make more sense to you. Basically, it's company owned versus shareholder owned, and then debt owned. You can look it up. Actually, since its IPO in 1978, AMD has only returned a cumulative 200%, very slow over. How many years is that? That's a lot of years. Since before I was born. Since Superman came out. 49 years? 39 years. NVIDIA has risen to 8,000% since the IPO in 1999, which is a lot shorter. Only I've been born since then. I was like a teenager when that happened. Middle school. Although I don't know if it's fast or slow, so it was definitely up. Move up and up. So it's about 18 years. NVIDIA is legal. So with this news and the rise of eBay and Amazon profits, I wonder if the movie industry is going to decline as a result of everyone buying. Not so much, I don't know the statistics about software for video games, but at least hardware, the Switch, all these retro consoles, and of course gaming PCs with AMD and Nvidia. Well, Nvidia is also Nintendo Switch. Will it really hurt the movie market? And is this a bad time for Sega and Nintendo to go to the movie market if everybody's spending their money on $2,000 gaming consoles and stuff, gaming PCs and stuff? That's definitely something interesting to explore, and I wonder what you guys think about that.